Welcome to another episode of the PGTK podcast, an interview podcast. My name is Emmanuel, and as you can hear from my voice, I'm actually recording this the night before the episode premieres. So by the time you see this episode, it will be out on Friday at noon Central. And on this week's episode, we have the lovely Cavens on this podcast. And I do want to preface, I had some issues with the recording software that we had during this phone call. So I tried my best to really salvage and edit this episode, but I do want to deliver this to all of our listeners when it comes out on Friday. We talk about his 2023 recap and how Brick Savage and Cavens created a viral sensation at Inspire AD. We talk about his upcoming match with Kevin Knight over at Uncanny ETX that will happen on February 10th. I will provide the information for this event after this conversation, and we talk about his 2024 goals and what his dream opponent will be by the name of Leo Rush. And he's also a big anime fan, so we're going to definitely talk about what shows he's currently watching on his watch list, as well as mine. So please follow this podcast, but most importantly, let's share this episode to two people, just so that people can enjoy this episode along with us. And without further ado, here is our conversation with Cavens. There's Cavens. How are you, man?
Hey there, Emmanuel.
You've had, and I've watched a lot of your matches during the year, and you've had a great 2023. How was that like?
Dude, man, where do I start, bro? It's like I have a pretty like marquee match, bro. It's like with Fuego and Trey Miguel. I got extra work for WWE. I apparently went viral. As well.
Oh my gosh, you gotta elaborate. You can't just say viral and it's,
Apparently there happens to be a 5-second clip of, Brick Savage just manhandling someone, smash type that you would see from the Avengers, and it just happened to just like go viral on Twitter. I'm pretty sure his post has like over 1 million views and still counting right now. So yeah.
Oh wait, I remember that. I remember seeing. I was there, and I was watching it. The setup was kind of interesting because I was like, next thing you know, it was a Hulk throw, and I'm like, okay.
His quote unquote end of the line slam, as he calls it.
It's kind of nice, dude. It's like, it's one of those moments where like it's a few seconds, and then you hear the slam,
yeah,
and then it's like, what just happened?
Oh yeah, no. That 1 minute, I'm looking at the ceiling. 1 minute I'm not, and 1 minute I'm looking at the canvas. So it was so slow yet so fast. It all happened so slow yet so fast. I don't even know how to completely explain what happened. I pretty much now people are just tagging me in the Hulk Loki gif.
And we have Uncanny ATX, and you have a match coming up, and
Kevin Knight, yeah,
but Kevin Knight, especially with that, like, what are you hyped on this match?
Oh man, Kevin Knight, because he's been like making the rounds as well. But you've seen his work on Impact, with New Japan and CMLL, and it's when they first told me, because like I found out at Inspire, like my jaw kind of dropped because again, it's one of those main marquee matches, and as I said before, he brings, his like high flying style to the table, and I also, like with high flying and my speed and that athleticism and whatnot, it's one of those scenarios again to where like those two people who have never stepped foot in the ring together, but could still possibly be like so in sync that it's gonna end up just being one of those 5-star matches that everybody likes, and that's my that is my goal going in, because at the end of the day, this is still my debut. Like this is still my debut for Uncanny. So this is gonna be like to get associated with the crowd, to showcase what I can do inside the ring and whatever. So I'm excited for an exciting match. I can't think of a better way to just like make a splash in Uncanny and show what I can do than by getting to perform with Kevin Knight.
What's interesting about Jet too is, especially with how he adapts in the ring, everything's on the fly with him, and it still worked out at the end of the day too. So on February 10th, I'll put it on the show notes. Uncanny ATX. I already got my tickets. No, I already got them. I'm on second row. I'm in. So what are your goals for this year? And I know we talked about this upcoming match on the 10th. What are some goals do you have in mind for this year?
Oh man, so far as goals, bro, all I want to do is pretty much just have more marquee matches with a lot of different talent. I want to get outside of Texas more, maybe some out of state work if I can. Yeah, I'm just trying to get like more experience, man, and just more acclimated to like everybody's style of wrestling while perfecting my own. Um, I want to, cause like I want like the one day, hopefully just the whole world just filled with Cavens chants. So I feel like the more, like
That's the chant right there.
exactly, the more I get my face out there, the more, like my face becomes known, the more my name becomes known, the more my name will be chanted. So, I do, cause I refer to myself as the most brilliant name in the business, and the best way to touch on that is by facing other brilliant names in the business. So in order to establish myself as one of the most brilliant names in the business of all time, I want to just have those marquee matches, those very talked about moments. Just when you see this or that, you think Cavens. I want my matches to be as recognized as the emoji I use next to Cavens.
And do you have a, well, I'm gonna say it here. Do you have a dream opponent in mind?
Dude, oh man. I'm gonna be honest, and like anybody who's anybody knows that my go-to will always be Leo Rush. I'm craving a match with Leo Rush, who's supposed to be down here in my area at Wrestling Revolver, I believe on the 17th of February. He's facing Chris Bay, but like saw that he was announced, I wanted to know, who do I need to talk to? Whose door do I have to kick in to make this happen?
Yeah, and it's one of those things where you're like, when that opportunity knocks, you're gonna come busting that door down.
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Leo Rush, dude, like is just like one of my many inspirations, and he definitely inspired my ring work and the way that I move in the ring. So I feel that sharing a ring with him would not only be full circle, but again, I feel like that's a match that will have a lot of people talking, and I feel like we would be able to deliver one of those just like a main event style matches, one of those bangers that people would just like, again, another viral moment. But I feel like um that would be like such a great test for myself, because it's almost like teacher versus student. So if he ever one day just wants that challenge, it's waiting for him here in Texas.
That's the dream right there. That's the dream.
That is most depth. That, and you want to talk about a goal, that is a goal.
Just like put that thumbtack, put a pin on that. We'll put Leo Rush summer 2024.
Oh, perfect. Leave a stamp on it right there.
So this interview is more than wrestling. Of course, you are a huge fan of anime, and what's like a current show that you're watching right now?
Oh, dude. So I was watching it. I just like recently finished it. It's called Oshinoko.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I just finished it. And the crazy thing is, like, I didn't want to watch it beforehand, because whenever there's this show in general or whatever that everybody's just like raving about, they just can't stop talking about. It just kind of turns you off to it, because it's like, you don't really want to watch it anymore, because like they've made such a buzz about it to the point where, like you're not even interested anymore. but I took the time and I sat down and just decided, a lot of people have talked about it. The character design looks really amazing. So let me just get a couple episodes in and see how I like it. And boy, did I just become enamored with it. I became addicted so fast. So fast, dude. It's so good. It's so good. Why? I I'm I'm a part of it now. I'm a part of it. I'm a part of the wave now. It's like from the character design to the opening, which got referenced a lot. You would hear the opening song everywhere. And like I just got captured in all of it, bro. And like I try not to binge these things, but I couldn't help but binge this.
I'm on episode 2, so I'm catching up on Oshinoko. And first episode, I was the aesthetics of like the episode. I was already stuck. And
Dude, no, that's what I'm saying. It's like the first episode, which by the way was like I believe like an hour or so long, which is like longer than most of it.
yes,
But I understand because it set the tone for the entirety of that series. It set the tone for the entirety of that series. And
yeah, and it's crazy, dude.
it
But yeah,
is.
get it. I'll let you finish.
No, no, like it is. No, like I said, it's like I'm just so because I think that was like the best first episode that I think I've seen to date. That has just like had me wrapped around its finger.
Really?
It's so far to date. Like literally, the anime awards are coming up soon, for Crunchyroll, and like I can't lie to you. I put most of my bid into Oshinoko. I voted Oshinoko for Anime of the Year, as a matter of fact.
Oh my, that's a hot take. I'm gonna have to watch this after this interview and catch up. I'm already on episode 2. So I'm slowly catching up. So, ooh.
I feel like you're gonna share my opinion by the time you're done.
Oh, you said you finished it, so I'm gonna take your word on that. So, like, if you finish it,
Anime of the Year, in my opinion. Sorry, Chainsaw Man. I'm so sorry, Chainsaw Man, but
ooh,
Chainsaw Man close second. I gotta give it to Oshinoko.
okay. I finished Chainsaw Man, so I finished like a good. I think the first season I finished already, so I'm slowly catching up on that. So, but that's a hot take. That's a hot take. Oshinoko over Chainsaw Man.
I will stand by this hot take. I'm standing by it.
Okay, I'm gonna go. It's already on my watch. So it's already there. My anime, I'm more on the old school side. So I grew up more on the '90s side. So I currently watching. I'm currently watching. You're gonna love this Yu Yu Hakusho. I've
Oh,
been watching a
bro.
lot of Yu Yu Hakusho. So I grew up watching
To
it.
this day, bro, Yu Yu Hakusho is like the most relevant, retro anime for a retro anime, bro, it is still relevant to this day. That's how good Yu Yu Hakusho is.
Yeah, and I can't find my shirt, and I had Ryzen on there. That storyline with Ryzen, that's Yusuke Urameshi's dad. It's the most saddest tale you will ever see, because spoilers on a 30-year-old anime. Spoilers on a 30-year-old. Ryzen is kind of like this barbaric demon who's
Right.
pillaging and doing all these things, and then he saw Yusuke's mom, and then and they found love, and he became soft-hearted. And that end of the arc, when Yusuke when his dad died, it's like the most saddest thing, because you get to see each other face to face, and then he dies. But they had the shrine in front of him, and he was joking at him. He was joking. He was low-key jabbing
Oh
him.
man, no, you're right. Like it was I don't know how to describe one of those moments like with anime, but it's like it definitely tickled me a little bit. Um it was sad, but it had that undertone in it, and that's what I enjoyed about it.
He was jabbing at him at the end of the episode. I was like, I forgot what the joke was, and then I was like, oh, okay. He still has a little bit of humanity within him, because like throughout that arc, I love that arc, because like, yeah, he's he's basically a vengeful guy, and then
Yeah, just like
he
pure demon blood, dude.
yeah, exactly, and like it's a love of a woman that made him turn the other way, and then of course they had everything on there, but by the end when they finally reunite and then he passed, and I was like, dang, and the guy literally starved himself to death. That was what I remember. He starved himself to death
He did.
with that arc. So it's like, like he was very hungry, but when he started literally dying from hunger, and then they had that bonding moment, and it's like, not gonna lie, top 10 anime endings of all time. As much as there are other ones, that one was number one for me, because that the writing and everything was just, oh my, it's amazing seeing that. So that's gonna be on my watch, because I have to rewatch that too.
I'm assuming that means you watch like the Netflix live adaptation then?
I didn't like it. I'm sorry.
You didn't like it? No. It's understandable. It's like I it was hard to get behind because a lot of it felt rushed. They were just like really speeding through some of these
Yes,
arcs.
exactly, because like that's the thing with any adaptation from any animation, even anime, like it takes time for things to develop. The one that got
I
away
know.
as the one thing that I notice is One Piece. One Piece at least took time for 100 episodes on the anime. On the Netflix series, it's like the first, like I think that was like the first, I forgot how many episodes in the anime, and they did that into one season. They took there's a thin line for adaptations, is respect for the source material.
Exactly.
You gotta write it, but at the same time you pay that off. So and the Yu Yu Hakusho, the first episode I kind of gave up, because like it's my childhood. That's the odd part. I grew up with that, and seeing something that's that's for a younger generation, it just didn't pan out. Like the first episode, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to watching One Piece. I was catching up episode 6. Click.
Very big on source material, dude. It's like if you can't just like kind of like just stay on track as the same as like the anime or the manga, then I'm gonna fall off like immediately.
Yes,
I can't stay in tune with
exactly.
it because like I'm watching Yu Yu Hakusho live action because I want to see the adaptation from the anime manga in live format. So when this doesn't match that, I'm gonna be, as a viewer, I'm gonna be confused, and I'm not gonna really want to just like I'm not gonna sit and stay for the show, you know.
They kind of didn't even set up the tournament yet with the Netflix. I don't think they set that up for the tournament. They just gotta get to know from everybody. I don't think they
I
set
don't
that.
believe they did.
Yeah, that's what's missing. Because like you have to put the tournament arc with that, because you can't just do 13 episodes. Like here's the tournament. Like I don't know. See, my gears are grinding. My gears are grinding.
They rushed. They rushed.
Yeah.
Um, again, it's like every time like Netflix, like just tells me that they have like a live anime adaptation, I just sit with my fingers crossed. As like, the best I can do is try it.
Yeah.
Netflix doesn't really have a good track record with their live action anime.
They're working on it. I mean, One Piece was reputable enough. It's just I know.
One Piece and One Piece and Full Metal,
Mm,
I can tolerate. I can tolerate. It's the Death Note and the Yu
don't
Yu
get me started on Death Note. Do
Hakusho.
not get me started on Death Note.
I'm sorry. Yeah, they ruined it. They definitely ruined it. It's not as I'm not gonna say that it's as bad as Dragon Ball Evolution, but it's bad.
Oh, that's the bottom of the pit.
That's why I was like I feel like that's where they're aiming for sometimes.
Yeah, and of course, like any it won't be perfect, but at the same time, it's just all these shows take time, and the anime and the manga, the reason why they're established as they are, they had their time to get to everything. One Piece is still ongoing.
It
Well,
is.
the manga, it's still ongoing, but
It
it took
is.
time for them to do that. So it's kind of like seeing the Netflix. I mean, hopefully they'll get something right, but I'll wait till that bridge gets crossed. Like,
Yeah. And like my concern, honestly, my concern is that you have a lot of newer and younger anime fans coming in who probably have not seen the original anime and manga or whatever.
Right.
So it's like these adaptations are going to be like their first impression.
Yeah, and it's one of those things like it's gonna be a while for that, and that's what happened to me when I was a kid. I watched which one was it? I forgot which one. There was I saw the Evangelion movie before I saw the anime. I was very young when I saw that. I just saw the movie, and it's like, oh, there's an anime from that. It made the movie better because it built up the foundation on the anime, and that's that's an example of something that's taken from a shorter form media to a longer form media. So like with the Netflix adaptations, I hope that they can fix things, but again, it takes time for stories to build up on that, because otherwise you don't want something rushed like a Death Note where you're focused on light so much that you don't even know what's happening.
Exactly.
So, but we're gonna end our conversation with this. So, thank you so much for putting you on today on PGTK. It's been a real privilege. But I have this question. So, the World Health Organization lists adolescents between 10 and 19. Within that time, someone grows up within that age range, and they pick things up along the way. Now, if you can see young Cavens at age 15, what would you look at him and give him as advice?
I would definitely look at him and just tell him to just keep at it. Don't really give up, because I know adolescent Cavens was probably in this period of time was just spinning his wheels or whatever, just like wasting away, wondering if it was going to come true, if he was ever going to get that shot. I would tell him just like keep digging, because I promise you, dude, you're going to strike gold. Don't give up. Don't listen to the naysayers that tell you that this is impossible, because at the end of the day, what makes us so brilliant is that we make the impossible possible. So I would definitely tell him, like, it doesn't matter how short you are, or, just pretty much none of your like attributes can like compare to what you are truly capable of. Yeah, I would, any confidence that like young Cavens was lacking, I would be there to reassure that lad.
Oh man, that's wow, that hit me. I got goosebumps. I got goosebumps.
Dude. Oh man, I would also tell him to yell his name as many times as possible. Yell it from the heavens.
Yeah, interesting too. So, of course, thank you, Cavens, for having you on the. There you go, Cavens. There he is. So, thank you so much for having you on this episode. And where can we find you on socials?
Man, you can find me on all of my socials: Facebook, X, aka Twitter, Instagram at Delin X Delin, TikTok on all of my social, Delin X Delin. It's the same as Hunter X Hunter.
Yes.
But yes, you can all find me there.
Okay, awesome. And that is our conversation with Cavens, and the wrestling event that is mentioned on this episode is called Show the Love with Uncanny Attractions, and it will be held at the Highland Lounge in Austin, Texas on February 10th, and it will be at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Tickets and information will be on the show notes on the episode, so please buy these tickets and have a great time in this show. And this card is very huge, and we talked about Cavens and Kevin Knight on this episode, so they will be facing each other off on that wrestling event. And on next week's episode, we're back on our scheduled time on Mondays. What I can give you is that this guest has done 5 wrestling matches in 4 days. It's no small feat, but we'll talk about that episode once it comes out on Monday. And you can follow this podcast on our socials on X, Instagram, Threads, as well as Spotify at PGTK Pod. Leave a 5-star review, as well as sending us an email at pgtkpod@gmail.com. And as always, thank you so much for listening. Be awesome with each other, and I'll see you guys on the next episode of the PGTK Podcast, an interview podcast.